Welcome everyone. Tonight is the 18th of July and I'm so excited that you're here live. If you're watching on the replay, hi, we love you. We appreciate you. We see you even though you're not here on Zoom. And tonight I have a few exciting announcements, and I know that I feel like every time we get on skills training, I say that, and it might be like sounding melodramatic, but I really am so excited. So here's a few things. Number one is Aaron Rodgers is hosting an event in September in Knoxville, and I think it's going to be a really fantastic event. I think it's going to be a super fantastic event, and I'm really excited to go. If you want details on that event, go to our Facebook group and find the events tab and then check it out, because for like $135, it covers education for 2 days straight, and then also meals that are gluten-free, and I think maybe dairy-free as well. So that's super exciting. Next is that I'm just going to go ahead and share with you the surprise that I've been telling you about. Now, we have been working all afternoon to see if we can get this launched by the time the meeting is over, and it might be done by the time this meeting is over, but it has taken a lot of work because the prices of everything have changed and calculations and all this, but this is the big announcement. So I'm going to share my screen. We used to do welcome kits, and we stopped doing them when we originally switched over to the crew, when Jordan Schrant, who's in our upline, was doing them. We are switching back to providing them for you ourselves. And I like that because I like to be in control, and I like to know when things get shipped and when they get delivered. And so I also like being able to put together. So we have 3 different welcome kits available. And the first one is $15, including shipping. And it has a Young Living product guide, a transfer buying form, an essential oil usage guide, a keychain roller bottle, and a Yum Earth lollipop sucker. That is the basic. The next one, including shipping, is we're calling it the subscriber. This includes a product guide, a transfer buying form, a usage guide, which is that one also has a usage guide. It's a little tiny little pamphlet, oil bottle, top labels, a glass roller bottle, a 1 milliliter glass dropper bottle, I'll fix that typo, and a Yum Earth sucker. The next one is the big one. It's the researcher. This has everything that we just mentioned and also the pocket reference. So that is including shipping, including packaging, everything like that. We just basically are doing it at cost. You can see the breakdown if you ever want to see it. It covers like a sliver of time for someone to package this up, plus all the costs of the product. After that, we have add-ons available. So we have the supplements desk reference, the seed to seal, an organic sucker, kids diffuser bracelet. We have dryer ball. We have thieves cleaner spray label and mega dropper bottle. So you can add on things as you want. But that is what I wanted to share with you tonight. More details coming on that in the next 24 hours as it gets on the website. So big round of applause to Dave, Dad, for putting that together. Super appreciate you. All right, now without further ado, the whole reason you're here, you guys, we have such a special treat today. Shelby Paulk is here from wherever she lives. I want to say Oklahoma or Texas or something. She'll tell us. But you guys, this woman, when you meet her, you wouldn't be like, okay, you wouldn't get the Instagram like famous untouchable vibe. She's super generous and like whole with her heart, and she's like so free with what she's doing. And she started this journey with about 1,000 followers on Instagram, and has done something that I feel like is so special, because we all start somewhere. And I feel like sometimes when we look at people who are really famous on Instagram and we're like, okay, of course they're getting 50 enrollments a month. They have 75,000 followers. Shelby is doing something that has grown her follower count, simultaneously getting enrollments, and this boss enrolls 10 to 15 people a month. And so Shelby, I titled this, I totally forgot to send you the photo that I pumped out, and I'll send it to you a little bit, but I titled this how to turn 1,000 followers into 10 enrollments a month. And so I'm just so appreciative of you being here. She's a crown diamond with Young Living. You guys give it up for her in the chat. Shelby, the time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What an introduction. I appreciate you having me, Bethany. And thank you guys all for hopping on with me today. I am excited to share a little bit about what I have been doing. So I am actually from Michigan, which is like not even close to Oklahoma or Texas. But I do hear sometimes people say that I have an accent, so maybe that's what threw you off. I am a crown diamond with Young Living. I have been with Young Living for about 7.5 years. My husband and I, like I said, we live in Michigan. We have 7 young children. I homeschool, so I am a busy mama, like probably a lot of you guys are. But I wanted to share with you a little bit today about social media and how I have grown my following, but also been very, very intentional about growing that following, because it's not about the number for me, it's about quality over quantity. And I really focus on that. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about social media. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat and I will do my best to either answer them like after I'm done talking, or you're always welcome to find me on Instagram or Facebook and I will get back with you on your questions as much as I can. So, okay, where do I start? So when I started this business, I had no Instagram. I always like to say, I am not an influencer. I never have been, I never will be, except that I feel like we are all influencers in our own lives. And so even though I might not be Insta famous, I am influencing somebody. If I have 1 follower, I'm influencing that one person. If I have 1,000 followers, I'm influencing them in some way. And so I want you guys always to remember that too. Like people are following you because they want to follow you. They're interested in your lives and they're interested in what you have to say. And so 7 years ago when I got started, I didn't have Instagram. I grew my entire business on Facebook. I never held one single thing in person. I never met one-on-one, never went to coffee, never had a class, never did anything in person until after I hit Diamond. And what I noticed after I hit Diamond was that my enrollments went from like enrolling 20 or 25 people a month to like 5. And all of a sudden I was like, ooh, I don't really like that. I need to pivot a little bit. And so I went from doing nothing in person to literally doing 20 classes a month and doing everything in person. Well, then, as we all know, COVID hit. I had a new baby right at the very beginning of COVID. I had our 7th baby. I almost died during delivery. Just like a lot of things kind of hit the fan all at the same time. And I did the exact same thing as I did previously, where I'm like, okay, I don't love the direction of where my personal business is going. I need to pivot and I need to do something different. And so that is when, about 2 years ago, when I told myself I can either be like really complacent in where I'm at in my business, or I can pivot and do something different and I can learn something new. And so that's when I started to really intentionally use Instagram as a business versus just a social media app. So 2 years ago, I had 1,000 followers, about 1,200 followers on Instagram. And today I have almost 10,000. And is that a huge jump in 2 years? It's a big jump, but it's not necessarily a huge, huge jump like some other people have done. But like I said, I have really focused on quality over quantity. My biggest focus on Instagram is making every single one of my followers feel like they are my best friend. I want them to feel like they know me. I want them to feel like they know my family. I want them to be able to call my kids by their names. I want them to know who we are, what I stand for. And if I'm not like their person, that's okay. Like they unfollow me, that's okay, because they are not like meant to be, right? Like they're not going to be my real life best friend. But we know that this business is all about relationships, right? Like That is the biggest thing. If I can get my followers to trust me, I can get them to buy oils from me eventually. That is why people buy oils from you, is because they view you as the expert, because they have a relationship with you, because they trust you. They're not buying from Young Living. They're buying initially, at least, from you. And so my goal on Instagram, like I said, is to make my followers feel like we are friends. And so I do that very, very, very intentionally. So some things that you'll notice on my Instagram, if any of you guys are actually influencers on Instagram, or you have taken courses, I might be telling you things that are completely opposite of what you're actually taught, because I'm not an influencer, but I have found my niche. I have found what works for me, and what works for the influencers doesn't work for me right now. Like, one of the biggest things people will tell you is do reels, do reels, do reels. I could do reels. I'm not going to use any excuse, but I do not do reels because I don't have time for reels. There, I said it. I don't make time for reels because I don't want to. I don't like them. I don't want to do them. And what's working for me works. If you like doing reels, do reels. I'm not doing reels. So like I said, take it with a grain of salt if you want to, but I am very, very intentional with my followers. So a lot of what you see on my Instagram, which is just Shelby Paulk, is not going to look super special to anybody. You're going to be like, okay, she posts mostly every single day. She's active in her stories, but I don't necessarily see anything that's super over the top special. Her pictures are all cohesive, but they're not like this incredible, beautiful feed. But what you don't see is what I'm doing behind the scenes. And that is the important part of Instagram, in my personal opinion, especially if you want to turn those people who are buying oils from you into loyal users and getting them on loyalty rewards and getting them to do the business with you. Sure, I could sell kits or I could enroll people all day long. But if I want to actually flip them to be brand partners, then I need to have a relationship with them so that I can approach them about that. So, like I said, what I'm doing is basically a lot of behind the scenes. So let me give you an example. Would that be helpful if I kind of give you an example of what I do? Okay. So I basically set aside a chunk of time in the evening, could be morning, could be evening, whenever you have time to do it, to focus on my Instagram. I literally set a timer for 30-minute chunks of time every single night where I do the exact same thing. So in my first 30 minutes of time, I focus on getting new followers. Okay. So I will go to, let me back up just for a really quick second. One of the most important things, in my opinion, when you are going to be doing Instagram is to figure out your brand. Okay. Figuring out, I don't mean like, what are your colors? What do you want your scheme to look like? No, like figure out who you are and what you're going to portray, because that's naturally who you are. Don't pretend to be somebody that you're not, but who are you? Because it's just who you are. So for me, I sat down and I figured out like my 5 to 7 brand words. They are big family life, homeschooling mom, homesteading, right? Like natural living, stuff like that. Those are my brand words. So I'm very intentional about every single thing that I post, whether it's on my grid or in my stories, all falls within those 5 things. So there are things that you will never see in my feed. You'll never see me swearing. You'll never see me complaining about my kids. You'll never see, like, there's just things that you won't see, because I want people to know exactly what they're going to get when they come visit my Instagram or when my stories come across their feed. So that's first thing. If you have not figured out your brand, figure out what your brand is, and then make sure everything that you post is really encompassed in that brand. Okay. So anyway, so when I do my Instagram work, I sit down and the first 30 minutes, I find new people to follow. So if you go to my Instagram, you'll notice that I have close to 10,000 followers. I'm also following about 7,000 people. That's because a relationship, in my opinion, is a two-way street. It cannot just always be them coming to me. It has to be me also engaging with them. It has to be me calling their kids by their names. It has to be me asking about their family's lives. It has to be me connecting with them. And so one of the things that I noticed when I first started Instagram was I was posting all the time, I was posting all the time with hashtags, and I was posting really good content and lots of things. And I'm like, why am I not getting any enrollments from this? Like, why is nobody coming to me asking me about wills? And what I really realized is that, why am I making them go first? Why can't I be the one reaching out to them instead and telling them how beautiful their family is? Why can't I be complimenting them instead of expecting that they're going to come to me? And so I think that was probably the biggest game changer in when I started really enrolling them. So I spent 30 minutes finding new followers to start following them, have them follow me back, hopefully. And then I say hi to them, not in a sleazy way, not in a thanks for following me. Oh, I'm into this natural look. No, like, I will message them and say, you have an adorable family. I loved looking through your feed. Your life looks so blessed. Like, just something like that, like something kind, something like genuine, something like you're actually looking through their feed. I will also try to find things that we have in common when I message them. Oh, it looks like you're a homeschooling family too. How long have you been homeschooling? Whatever, just trying to find something in common with people. So I spend 30 minutes finding new followers. And then the next 30 minutes I spend like messaging people who have followed me, saying that exact same thing. You have an adorable family. I love looking through your feed. You are so blessed, whatever. And I have in my notes, sorry, I am literally not looking at the chat. So if I'm missing stuff, Bethany, you can stop me. Sorry, where was I? Oh, okay, in my notes. So I am all about working smarter and not harder, right? We're going to make this as simple and as like easy to do as possible. So I keep scripts in my phone that I can copy and paste. So let's say I got a new follower. She's also a homeschool mom. We have something in common. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my notes and I'm going to copy and paste my script that I have for like my homeschooling mom welcome. And it basically says this. I love looking through your feed. You have an adorable family. We are a homeschooling family too. How long have you been homeschooling? You're so blessed. Copy, paste, send. Go to the next person. What do we have in common? Copy, paste, send. Copy, paste, send. So I spend 30 minutes copy, paste, sending, and then messaging those people. So then after I've done that 30 minutes and then the other 30 minutes, for the next 30 minutes, I spend solely going through people's Insta stories and just commenting and engaging and complimenting and asking questions. People want to talk about themselves. Ask people questions. Where did you get that from? Oh my goodness. Where are you guys? It's a beautiful location. I didn't know that you did that too. Like, ask questions. People want to engage, and it's how you build relationships with people, right? Like, you can't always expect them to come to you and engage with you, no matter how good your content is. I'm sure your content is awesome, but you go first. So then I spend 30 minutes doing that. Then I usually spend 30 minutes really intentionally going to, okay, I think I showed you this, Bethany, when we were talking. I have folders in my Instagram. Did you guys know that you can create folders in your Instagram? Okay, so I'm going to show you this little trick that has helped me. Like, this has been a game changer for me. You can make folders for Instagram and put people in there to keep you organized. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So you basically are going to go to, so this is my Instagram. Okay, you're going to go to like your 3 lines up here. I don't know if I can do it without looking. And it's going to bring all this stuff up. Go to saved. Do you guys see there where there's like a plus sign and it says all posts? You can create folders within this area to organize your people. Okay, so if you hit that plus sign, which is right up here, you can create a folder that says, has asked me about oils. So I have a folder that says, has asked about oils. So anytime somebody on my Instagram asks me about oils, they go into this folder. Because then I know who I need to engage with. I know that when there is a sale that pops up, I know exactly who I need to go to tell them about it. I have a folder called who I have regular conversations with, who bought a kit, who I've sent a link to, post ideas, already has oils on another team. Like I have all of these folders that I can kind of categorize people, and it helps keep me organized. So once I have people kind of organized and I stick with that, I spend 30 minutes going through and intentionally interacting with either people who have bought a kit from me to ask how things are going, people who I have regular conversations with, kind of keeping up with them, but I spend 30 minutes doing that. So I kind of do like chunks of time, and it's literally like set your timer, do 30 minutes and you know, move forward. So I usually spend 2 to 3 hours doing this every single night, but my personality is like go big or go home. You do not have to do that. Find something that is like attainable for you. So my goal was to get 500 new followers a month and be able to keep up in that rotation and doing what I'm doing. Start with 20. Literally start with 20, because 20 is better than none, right? And if you're going to stick with it and do 20, it's better than not and getting 500, because we want quality over quantity. So that has been like one of my biggest game changers, is the folders, is reaching out to people first. I always say, like I tell my team all the time, this is called network marketing for a reason. If you stop enrolling, you stop growing, right? And so enrolling has been one of my biggest focuses over the last couple of years. And when people say that they're having a hard time enrolling, it's because they're not getting out of their comfort zone, and that they're not going to find people. People aren't going to find you. You're going to have to go find people. And Instagram is an incredible place to do this, because it has millions and millions of people all around the world that you would never have access to without social media. It's called network marketing for a reason. Get out there and network and meet other people. It's been an incredible, like, I think what's really cool about it is I have gone into using social media as like a business, but I have found, as you guys probably know with this business, like some incredible people. I think that I'm encouraging people, but it's actually the other way around. They're encouraging me. And so it's just been a really, really great tool to use for growing my business. Okay. Do you want me to keep going with that, or do you want me to answer some questions?
I mean, I have like a million questions, as I'm sure everyone else does, but if you have more to say, I don't want to cut you off.
No, you're good. I think I always say that like the way that I learn the best is by asking questions. And so I would be happy to answer some. I think it's not this is nothing special. I'm not doing anything special, except that I'm being really consistent with it. So feel free to ask your questions.
Okay. My questions are, number one, you say this is nothing special, but when I look at your feed, I can tell that you have some aesthetic, like guidelines for someone who's taking foggy photos or low lit photos or low lit stories? Like how important do you think it is that they get that figured out before they start, really working?
So I would say the look is not nearly as important as what you're doing behind the scenes. I do think it's a little bit important, depending on who you're trying to attract. But I would say if it is between you like running and just like starting or waiting until you figure that out, get moving. Just get started. The rest will come later. You have time to learn that. And I would also say it doesn't have to be difficult. Like my feed does have like a certain look to it, but I literally hit like 2 buttons to make it look like that.
Okay.
So find an app that works and run with that.
Amazing. Okay. Second question. Are these people enrolling month 1 that you get connected, or is it like a gestation situation?
For sure. Most of the time. So I would say this is not any different than when you're enrolling your friends and family, right? Like they have to see you being very consistent in talking about Young Living. So on my feed, you will see that I post about Young Living typically every 4 to 5 posts. So like once a week. In my stories, I post about it every single day. Every single day. So people are seeing stuff on a very, very consistent basis. There are some people who purchase in their first month, but I would say it's more like 3 to 6 months. But that like is not surprising if you know anything about this business, right? It is literally all about trust, and it is about building the relationship. And so people are just waiting to see me post over and over and over and over again. And what I've been really teaching my team and what I've been doing personally is we have this incredible, huge catalog of products within Young Living. I love the fact that it is like a total wellness company. I love the fact that I can literally shop at one stop and not have to go anywhere else. However, I don't necessarily want to showcase that all the time in my Instagram. I try really hard to pick 5 to 10 products and stick with those and share about those over and over and over and over and over again, because that's what I'm going to get people enrolled with. And then I'm going to teach them about the rest of the catalog. But if you teach about all 600 things, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, there's just so much. I don't even know what to begin with. Okay, well, figure out what are your 5 to 10 life-changing products that you love that you could talk about all day long and share about those.
Okay, that was super helpful. So if someone decides they're going to commit like 2 to 3 hours, like if they're like, hey, Shelby, I'm an all-in person as well, I'm going 2 to 3 hours every single day. What I'm hearing you say is really give it several months before deciding if it's effective.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. A few months at least.
Okay.
You know how it is. I mean, sometimes the people closest to you even take how long did it take you to enroll your mom?
Yeah, long time.
Right, like it took me 2.5 years to enroll my mom. Like, you're my mom. Come on.
And everyone's like, just enroll your mom. You're like, yeah, if only it was that easy.
Yes.
I will say my mom did support me before she actually did the business, but yeah. Okay. My third question is, when you say like it's a 2-way street, the first thing that I think of is, oh my gosh, do you remember all those people?
No.
You keep track.
I do. I keep track. And it's actually funny you say that. So I sent out a project broadcast today about the sale, and I was getting messages back, and I'm like, oh, I wonder who that person is under. And I looked and I was like, oh, I enrolled all 4 of them. And I had no idea. Like I literally went and looked. So no, I don't remember all of them. It's why I put them in my folders. It's why I have them organized in a certain way so that I can like look back on our conversations. I also have a binder, which I should find, but I have a binder and I have a piece of paper for every single person that I enroll. It says when they enrolled, what their name is, how I enrolled them, was it Instagram, a vendor event, in person, whatever. When did they purchase? What did they purchase? When did I reach out? So I definitely like keep track of a lot of that. because there's just no way to remember all of them.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Last question that I have, if anyone else has questions, either put it in the chat or get ready to unmute. And I know we're kind of out of time too, but I think this is so valuable.
I have nothing going on. So
What is that?
I have nothing going on. So you're good.
Except for your Instagram, you got to go work. Okay. So when you say that you start the conversation, you get in their DMs, is there a moment where you invite them to something, or do you constantly just talk?
Yep.
Okay.
Constantly talk. So oftentimes I'll be sitting on the couch like at night and my husband's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just chatting with my friends. And truly that's like what I'm doing. So to a lot of people, they might look at what I'm doing as a waste of time, right? Like it might look like I'm literally spending 2 or 3 hours just chatting with people, because that's literally what I'm doing, but I'm doing it with a purpose. So yeah, I don't talk about oils. I don't invite them to anything. I let them solely approach me about oils. But even today, like with what I posted in my stories, I've been nonstop, like, tell me more about that. This is what I'm thinking. How do you make it less expensive, blah, blah, blah. People will ask you, people will come to you, and then it feels more genuine to them. If I was reaching out to them and talking to them about oils, it would seem like I followed them for that purpose. And I don't want it to feel like that to them.
Okay. Oh my gosh, Shelby, that was like literally amazing. I feel like just convicted in a way. I'm like, I need to carve out more time to just put towards my personal business instead of like making graphics.
Yeah. So I had this, I'll be like super honest with you. I had this come to Jesus moment like a year and a half ago, probably maybe 2 years now, 2 summers ago, where I found myself complaining a lot about my business, complaining about what my team wasn't doing, complaining about having to be customer service, and I didn't sign up for that. And I had this really bad attitude about my business instead of having like a grateful heart for what the business has given to me. And I'm not just talking financially, I'm talking like time freedom, I'm talking the friendships, just like everything. And I kind of had this come to Jesus moment where I was like, why am I complaining about the fact that I still am getting a paycheck, whether it's $100 or $500 or $5,000? Like, I have a job when so many people are losing their job, right? I'm able to stay home with my 7 kids and homeschool and bring in an income. And I really set aside the management mode that I was in, because I was definitely in that, like, why aren't my people doing something? Okay, they're not doing anything. I'm going to drag them along with me. I'm working, I'm dragging them with. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not dragging people along with me. If they want to do it, I'm going to lead by example, and I am going to go out and I'm going to work on my personal business. And so my personal enrollments have been like way more than they had been in the last several years. And that's all I can focus on, because it's all I can control. I can't control the fact that other people might not be working or other people are doing whatever they're doing, but I can control what I'm doing and bringing in new people and flipping those people business. And I think what's been really cool is when I started that shift in myself, I saw so much more joy. And that's what I tell people all the time is like, find what brings you joy in this business. What brings me joy is the relationships. It's welcoming people into this new lifestyle. It's letting the oils do what they're best at doing and changing people's health and wellness. And when I started focusing back on those things that brought me joy, I had such a different perspective in this business, and I quit complaining. And my husband is so glad. But I think that was like a huge, just like thing for me where I'm like, I need to step out of management mode. I need to start working my personal business again, quit making graphics, quit doing things that are already done because it doesn't have my name on it. Like, there was a little bit of like setting my ego aside and being like, you know what, I'm going to approach this really differently.
Oh my gosh, Shelby, that's so powerful. Thank you so much. You guys, as you're leaving tonight, just unmute yourself. Say thank you to Shelby, and I'll see you hopefully. Sarah says at me. Hopefully see you guys on the live stream in OQ in 24 minutes. We're doing oils for nurses. So if you're available to pop on and watch live. All right, unmute yourself. Thank you, Shelby, so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shelby.
Thank you,
Thank
Shelby.
you.
That was great.